right, welcome to the College Try podcast. I am Wyatt here with the question of the day. Today's question is going to get a little technical, so you are going to hear me talk a little bit about football, but I'll make it pretty quick. And the topic is the pro-style offense making a comeback in college football? Now, if you're not sure what the pro-style offense is, it's exactly what it sounds like, what the pros run. And obviously the pros are kind of going into that more spread that we're used to in college football, but pro-style is primarily under center. You have quite a big emphasis on the run game. You do have the addition of usually fullbacks. You probably use a lot of tight ends. Your quarterback can get out of shotgun, but it's a big run heavy play action pass, a lot of use of tight ends and possession wide receivers. And the question again is it making a comeback in college football? And the reason I ask this is because if you look at it right now, the top two teams in college football, and then again, this data set is not big. It's pretty much the last 2-3 years. But the best teams in college football as of right now, ranking wise, is Georgia and Michigan. If you look at both of their offenses, they are true pro-style offenses. Obviously, you get more shotgun in college than you do in the NFL, but they are pro-style, run heavy, play action pass, big tight ends. You look at Georgia's tight end, that guy is a freak. Big tight ends. Michigan uses 13 personnel quite a bit, which means one running back, 3 tight ends, a lot of possession wide receivers. And is this making a comeback? Because these two teams have been very successful with this type of offense. As you know, Michigan, they are, I think, 3rd or 4th in the country in rushing offense. Obviously, the academy schools are ahead of them because they literally rush it 60 times a game and pass once. But Michigan's right up there as the number 1 or number 2 Power 5 school that is up there in the running list. So the question is this an effective and long-term offense? Because Michigan does get their success in the run game. As we saw against Ohio State this year and last year, Michigan completely dominated that line of scrimmage. And if you can't stop the run, you can't stop anything. If you are, as an offensive coordinator, have a wide open run, your playbook, you have every single play you can call. So it's interesting if you're able to do it like Michigan and Georgia have proven, then they can be extremely successful offensively. Georgia is not quite as pro-style, I would say, as Michigan. They are really heavy and physical on the offensive line, and they are run heavy as well. You do see their big possession wide receivers and their big tight end. So I would classify them as a pro-style offense as well. And they're, as you see, the rest of the SEC is heavy spread. They are usually 4 wide, which means 4 wide receivers, rarely have a tight end. Sometimes they're empty. Quarterback is almost always in shotgun. If you look at, another example would be Ohio State, or every single Pac-12 school is technically that West Coast spread offense. And this is, as we saw, the spread West Coast offense in college football really took place in the early 2000s. This is when the passing game really opened up, and we saw a lot of the country adapt this. Michigan's tried it a couple of times with Rich Rodriguez from West Virginia. And there's just a couple different coaches that have a lot of success, and they are really they set the ground for the rest of the country to follow this. And I never thought that this run offense would be back, because just the players and the athletes that these spread offenses breed, it's a very scary offense to stop. If you look at Ohio State, they're 3 wide receivers. They probably have 3 or 4 if they wanted to be first round wide receivers. Marvin Harrison Jr. is the best wide receiver in college football, possibly the best player in college football. That guy's amazing. And to think that you can just throw the ball to him every single time, and he's probably going to catch it 80% of the time for a 20-yard gain, that's a really good offense. And that's why a lot of these teams are turning towards that spread. But the real question, again, going back to our original question, is our teams going to see Michigan and Georgia's success in their pro-style offense, and then are they going to incorporate that into their game plan a little bit? I'm not saying they're going to, I'm never going to say Alabama or Oregon or Ohio State are going to be true pro-style offenses, but right now they're probably like 80% pass, 20% run. So are we going to see at some point their numbers kind of even out a little bit? No team in 2023 is ever going to be true 50-50 run pass. It'll at maximum will probably be 55-45. Usually we'll see like a 60-40, like a Michigan or a Georgia. But if you're looking at Ohio State, Oregon, UCLA, USC, Alabama, they're probably 80-85% pass. And is that number going to come closer towards the middle there because of the success they have in the run game from Michigan and Georgia. So Michigan and Georgia could, again, this is not a huge data set since it is only the last 2 seasons, but Michigan and Georgia, in my opinion, I think are going to change the offensive way in college football a little bit to become a little bit more reliant on the run. And I think this is a really good thing. I think obviously spread offenses are extremely fun to watch. The athletes, the speed, everything is great. But a part of me, and I think a part of a lot of people, do love that smash mouth football. You know what Michigan did to Ohio State the last 2 years has been absolutely amazing. They just absolutely blew them out of the water, completely dominated them physically and mentally. There's no better feeling than completely sucking the life out of another team and just outmanning them and out physicaling them. And that's just the greatest feeling ever. And I think Michigan's thrived on that. As we see Georgia just manhandles teams, they'll probably manhandle the playoffs and win it. So it will be interesting because that's also a very exciting game to watch, just a team suck the will out of someone else. So I do think we will see a little bit of changes in those heavy spread offenses to maybe come back and rely on the run a little bit more. I don't think they're going to be true pro style offenses, but I do think what Michigan and Georgia are doing, people are taking notice and they are going to write down these things. Well, I hope you enjoy the question of the day. Hopefully we didn't get too technical there. But as always, thank you for watching and go blue.